used to punch that clock, working my hands raw, breaking my back for a check that barely paid it all. Now I press one button, watch the numbers climb, make what I used to in a year before I finish my wine. They called it luck, said I'd lose it fast, but I hedged my bets, I ain't built to crash. Got charts like maps, and I read them clear. Ain't no detours when the bag's this near. They said son, money don't grow on trees, but I water my charts, now it rains on me. More in a day than I made in a year. Poured out the struggle, topped off the beer. Now my worst days look like my best last year. Ain't going back, no change round here. Yeah, more in a day than I made in a year. I used to scrape for rent, living check to check. Now my broker calls me sir, show some damn respect. Turn my last few dollars to a stack so high, even my past self wouldn't recognize my life. No more counting dimes, no more skipping meals. Now it's Wagyu steak, yeah, my plate stay filled. I don't check the price, I just tap and go. Spend a little fast, but I make it slow. They say son, money don't grow on trees, but I water my charts, now it rains on me. More in a day than I made in a year. Poured out the struggle, topped off the beer. Now my worst days look like my best last year. Ain't going back, no change round here. Yeah, more in a day than I made in a year. I ain't gotta beg no boss for a raise. I just let my trades do the talking these days. They say easy come, easy go, but that's a lie, cause I built this up and I ain't letting it die. More in a day than I made in a year. Poured out the struggle, topped off the beer. Now my worst days look like my best last year. Ain't going back, no change round here. Yeah. More in a day than I made in a year. Poured out the struggle, topped off the beer. Now
oh brother. Welcome back to another Matt Kohrs experience. What's the JRE? The MKE, the Matt Kohrs experience. Shout out to Kohrs on the Cob. Always happy when Mr. Cobb can stop by the show and serenade us with a couple of his little ditties there to get us ready for another fun-filled day in the world's largest casino. We're kind of in an awkward in-between day. We're going to get some news around 9:45 and 10, and that could cause a little bit of morning volatility. Maybe in the second half of the day, we see some movement in the market just as people are preparing for Liberation Day. But in all reality, we're kind of sandwiched in between a huge day yesterday with the JP Morgan position, and then tomorrow is Liberation Day. So I guess I'm beating around the bush saying, just take it easy today. I myself really have no plans to, right now, my options accounts, both my options accounts are completely flat. And if I do what I need to do, I need to keep that the same. As of now, for the end of the day, not really get tricked into getting on a position before we know what in the world is going on. So please be careful with that. Of course, we'll be doing some day trading. We'll be doing some scalp trading, but I just don't get that this is necessarily the perfect time to be doing swing trading when we just have such an impactful event tomorrow, the Liberation Day. We're going to be hearing from Trump at the Rose Garden of what's going on with tariffs. And then later on, we're going to have on Friday of this week, not only do we have the inflation report, the PCE inflation report, but then we also have Jerome Powell speaking at 11:30. So it's weird. It's a big trading day Monday, a breather today. A big trading day Wednesday, a breather on Thursday. A big trading day on Friday. So it's this on again, off again thing. So what I'll be doing is ideally not being a degenerate, ideally sticking to my discipline and not touching my swing account and just kind of seeing if I could catch little intraday setup scalps here or there. We'll be looking at some futures. We could do that with either Apex or Take Profit, or we could even do swing option stuff with Vanquish. So we have some opportunity. My cat is going wild, dude. My cat was so bad. So bad last night. Not only is she currently knocking everything over. Stop! Not only is she currently knocking everything over, but on top of that, when I was getting up, I was up since maybe 2 or 3 in the morning because she kept attacking my feet. Like she army crawls under my sheets to attack my feet. And then when I woke up and I'm getting ready for the show and everything, I found my headphones. Like I had the over the ear power beats things that you wear at the gym. She just tore mine apart. On me apparently forgot to put them back into my case, and they were just on my nightstand. And I woke up this morning and one was in a completely different room, and the one that was in the bedroom was just torn apart. So it's just, this is just where we're at, I guess. I guess that's just the stage we're at, which she's a menace, but I love her. She's a menace that she's really like first they're sour, then they're sweet, like just kind of like a Sour Patch Kid. Like she does an awful thing and then she comes up to you and like head bonks you and then falls asleep on your lap. And she's really just a professional gaslighter. I feel like day in and day out, she's just lighting my gas, and that's just where we're at, folks. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, the world's largest casino. We're going to get rocking it today. If I'm disciplined, I won't be doing any swing trades. I will be doing some scalp trades. And to ideally get on the right side of the scalp trade, we have to do a little bit of a morning breakdown. So that's exactly what we're going to get doing right about now. U.S. stock futures fall as investors await clarity on Trump's upcoming tariffs. So here's a quick look at the pre-market session. We are just slightly below the closing value. Obviously, yesterday we dipped down. Doesn't seem like that important of a level on SPY, but this was 5,500 flat on SPX. That's exactly where we dipped. And then we just skyrocketed all day. And right now, futures are a bit down, but nothing too crazy. Bitcoin running up to 84, taking a bit of a breather. VIX popping up to 23, taking a little bit of a breather right now. So yeah, they are right in saying that we are slightly down, but really it's a nothing burger. The 5-minute trying to go back bullish, the 10-minute testing right now, the 30-minute trying to hold bullish, the 4-hour still bearish. Looking at the NASDAQ, 5-minute and 10-minute testing bullish, 30-minute trying to hold bullish, and 4 hours still bearish. So there just really wasn't that much happening in the overnight session, which I think means we still have legitimate intraday opportunity today. Obviously, happy April because it's a whole new month and basically a new week. We're also going to be going over seasonality. But before we get to that, I do want to let you know that we are getting some manufacturing numbers at 9:45, and then we're getting more numbers at 10 a.m. and then also JOLTS job openings. So don't be surprised if the market has a little bit of a whipsaw right around 9:45 on the 1-minute chart if you're really zoomed in, and then again at 10. So I think the right flow, especially if you're day trading, scalp trading, that type of a thing, is probably waiting until these numbers come out to really do anything. What I know that's painful because there's a lot of fun movement between 9:30 and 10, but you just don't want to be on the wrong side of that. So maybe wait for this JOLTS job openings number to actually come out. So that's the one thing I want to call out. Tomorrow we do have another employment number, but the big thing tomorrow is going to be just this Liberation Day event. Thursday, the normal initial jobless claims, more non-manufacturing numbers, PMI and prices, and then the big day is going to be Friday, where we get the unemployment report before the market opens, and also Jerome Powell will be speaking around 11:30. So we have a lot going on, but bringing our focus back to specifically today, yes, we have morning announcements, but I think really what's going to rule the roost today is the market's anticipation of what in the world is going down tomorrow. Trump's tariff set to make history and break a system MAGA lows. His plans have sparked fears of a U.S. recession and a global slowdown, as well as the end of the post-war order. So with it, is it going to be that dramatic? No, that's how media is these days, spinning it up to be a huge, huge thing. And it is huge in terms of its impact on the economy and trade. But this idea that there's some, I don't know, Death Star situation coming. I find that a little bit hard to believe. Trump says he settled on Liberation Day tariff plan, but doesn't reveal it. President wants to use tariffs to both raise revenue and negotiate with other countries. So this is what he had to say yesterday. But remember, we're getting the big announcement technically tomorrow from Trump will be at the Rose Garden. But this is what he had to say last night.
In a sense, it's a rebirth of a country, because how we could have afforded to do what we did. We help everybody, and they don't help us. I really, the term I like best probably is the liberation of America. It's the liberation of this country, because it's incredible. Look, we have 36 trillion in debt for a reason, and that accumulates over a long period of time. So I think what you're going to be seeing over the next couple of days will be very inspiring to a lot of people. They're reciprocal. So whatever they charge us, we charge them, but we're being nicer than they were. We have a lot of countries, friend and foe. I always say friend and foe, but the friend in many cases is worse than the foe. They took advantage of us, and we are going to be very nice by comparison to what they were. The numbers will be lower than what they've been charging us, and in some cases maybe substantially lower, but we sort of have a world obligation perhaps. But we're going to be very nice. Relatively speaking, we're going to be very kind.
Have you heard any concerns from the automakers, though, about the tariffs on parts that will go into effect over the coming weeks, about what that's going to mean for the price of...
Well, I gave them a big break for a month. I didn't charge them anything, for a big month, for that first month. And they brought a lot of material into this country because they could bring it in without tariff. If you look at Canada and Mexico, they were driving hundreds of thousands of cars into the market because they avoid the tariffs by doing it before the tariffs go on, which would be...
All right, you're kind of getting the idea that we're getting prepped up. Allegedly, he settled on what he's going to want to do. We did get this update this morning. White House proposal to impose 20% tariffs on most imports. This was reported by the Washington Post. Maybe it's accurate, maybe it's not, but that's just something we got as this morning. I'm sure there's going to be some, I don't know, news releases and press conferences today. So, excuse me, pay attention to that. Put on your notifications. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people making a lot of rounds, sharing their opinions today before we actually get the true update tomorrow. So I want to clarify, we will probably hear stuff today, but what actually matters, and what's really going to move the market is probably the announcements and the discussion tomorrow. So obviously be prepared for that. But I do have a question. I kind of want to ask all of you guys, if you don't mind. In my own life recently, especially here in New York, when I go out with, I guess, my buddies who know about a little bit more about finance or are actively in trading, it feels like the recent conversation has been a lot more of is this right or wrong? Is it the smart move? Is it not the smart move? So I kind of want to ask you guys that. Do you agree with what Trump is doing or not? And I guess to clarify it, it is fair to say, well, you might understand where he's trying to go and you might want that end goal, but maybe you don't agree with the way that he's technically going about it. So maybe to really frame this question properly, do you agree with what Trump's end goal appears to be? We're not really discussing the means in which he's getting it. Obviously, that could be the next question. But I'm saying just generically to your understanding of the situation, are you in agreement or do you disagree with what it appears that Trump is just saying, hey, we're going to have the exact same tariffs on everyone. If they're tariffing us, we're going to tariff them. Yes. Okay. Complete BS. I don't know enough to answer. Well, that's honest. Not possible to answer. That's not well, yeah, you could answer it the way many people are. All right, so it seems like a lot of people are on board with apparently the terminal position of where we're trying to go, of basically equal trade with anyone who trades with us. Now, second, and a little bit of a hairier question, do you agree with how he's going about it right now? A very aggressive, bombastic, loud approach to it. To the point of just raising, threatening, a very aggressive, classic Trump. Really feels like just classic New York businessman from New York in the 80s, if you ask me. So on now the second part, it seems like many of you agree with where he's trying to go. The new question is, do you agree with his tactics of attempting to achieve what he's going after? All right, this one is getting a little bit more in the middle. You guys are close. It seemed like it was overwhelming yes of where we're trying to go for the first one, but the way that he's going about it, you guys are a little bit more in the middle. I'm seeing a lot of yeses, but I'm also seeing a lot of nos. I'm seeing how else would you even do it? So maybe this is the singular painful selection. Interesting. I have doubts, but we'll see. Interesting. Okay, cool. I just kind of wanted to see where you guys were at, just because I've been having a lot of these conversations in my own life, and I was just wondering how much different we were viewed it from you guys. And I know it's kind of tough to have these complicated conversations when you're limited on how many characters you can use. But it is interesting to kind of get the vibe on the community here and kind of see. I'm actually surprised you guys were like 99% saying you do agree with what he's attempting to do. At the first question, obviously the percentage clearly dropped with the question of about how he's going about it. But the idea of just getting to equal trade, I think I saw like one or two no's. The rest of you was like a 99.9% type of a thing. Very interesting. Well, anyway, we're probably going to be hearing some updates today, but remember, tomorrow's the big day, Liberation Day. With all this, I did close out my positions yesterday. You could see Piper, bullish signal, 5 out of 5 strength, fired off at 10:30. The base signal cost was 486. It returned 114, which was 100% of the premium, as in you could scale this up for every $486. So if you had 10 of these, let's say you had a 5K account, well, you would have made 10 times this, just over $1,000. Obviously, this was called out at 10:30. I personally didn't take it because I've been taking long premium trades instead of short premium trades. But anyway, the account hitting a fresh high right there, locking in about 57. As you can see, it went flat. I closed out all my positions. As of right now, I am flat, but it was nice to. It's actually crazy. Just it feels like the account's been on a heater, and I'm kind of getting nervous about it because it seems like day over day, I keep thinking about how, man, in one day I'm making what I used to make in an entire year. And like that, like it's just crazy to see those numbers. But yeah, it was a crazy day yesterday. Obviously, if you're interested in this stuff in real time, that's exactly what the trading Discord's for. You get my trades, day trades, swing trades. If I sell premium, if I'm long premium, you get the Piper signal. You get access to a bunch of previous lectures. We do a morning breakdown every single day and coffee thoughts of exactly what I'm seeing and the changes in the option structure, the bullish transition zones, the bearish transition zones, all the major targets. That stuff happens every single day, and you get to test drive it for an entire month. The first month is exclusively free. So you get to do that. If you like it, great, stick around. And if it's not for you, just make sure to cancel your account within the first month. And even if you don't want to be a supporter, that's fine. You still get a lot of freebie stuff for being a member. And that includes this right here, where every single Sunday to your email inbox, I give you this newsletter. And what I want to bring to your attention is how this is yesterday's seasonality, Monday the 31st. How crazy is it that seasonality is that like accurate of a thing, that influential of a thing? Because when the market opened yesterday, things were dire. It was a gap down. We were at a major breakdown level. And then on this, we ended in the green. The SPY ended up 0.7%. And that's exactly what seasonality was calling for. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because the bias wasn't just bullish. It was very bullish. Looking at the past 27 years worth of data, the bulls won at 70% of the time. That's a 20% edge with a massive profit factor. The fact that we had that, it just blows my mind. Anyway, bringing it to today, it's actually another bullish day. Not a very bullish day, but it is another bullish dude. Piper, she's going nuts. It's like someone just put catnip right in. She just came in here, ran a circle around me, and then sprinted out. Anyway, she's jacked up about April Fool's Day or something. But anyway, today is another bullish day. There was one hit about 6-7 years ago, that like a pretty considerable hit. But overall, it does pay to be a bull on this day, at least from a historic standpoint. That's not necessarily like the end all be all. I'm not telling you it's 100%. I'm saying 2 out of 3 times the bulls do win this day, just like yesterday. 7 out of 10 times the bulls do win the day. For the remainder of the week, just if you're curious, tomorrow's another bullish day. Thursday is a bearish day, and then Friday is a bullish day. So with respect to seasonality, only one day of this week actually favors the bears. And this is something that I look at every single day. I find that the easiest tool to check this out actually is Spot Gamma. Speaking of which, can you guys see this? You guys cannot see this. You guys cannot see this. Why can you not see this? Here. Right here on the screen, Edgeful, this is their landing page. You can, what I'm about to show you, you can get for free. You have a free 1-week trial. It is pinned to the top of chat. It is in the description of the video. They are the partner of today's show. Highly recommend you guys checking out Edgeful so you can get the numbers that, like, we've all been there in trading, where you're just trading with your gut and you realize over the long run, it's a net losing situation. The people who are successful at this game have the exact numbers. They have the exact stats, facts, and figures of what's going on, and they trade with an edge, i.e. the name of this platform, Edgeful. Everything I'm about to show you, you can get for a free trial, pinned to the top of chat, in the description of the video. Highly recommend you taking advantage of this trial because there's a lot in this platform. And just to kind of show you my personal process, but obviously do what you think is appropriate, let me just switch it over to stocks. We'll look at the SPY, but they have futures. They have everything going on. Here's the seasonality of the month. So April, kicking off a new month. Dude, she's going crazy. Hang on. Piper's losing her mind right now. Piper. I think she's just knocking stuff over. What is this cat doing, man? This cat, dude. Cat losing her mind. She's absolutely losing her mind today. Where were we? This seasonality. Dude, I don't know what's going on. It feels like she has catnip. She's just losing it. Why don't you just take a nap, dude? We're trying to trade. We're trying to have a good day here. I like to start off with seasonality since we are starting a whole new month. In the past 5 years, you can see that April has favored the bulls. Now, if we look at the weekly view, we're kind of in a neutral week, but next week is very bullish. At least it has been over the past 5 years. And that's a piece of information that, is it the most bullish one? No, it looks like it's about the 4th most bullish week. Obviously, it gets really bullish. This is most likely closer to November. Second most bullish week is one we just came out of, and that definitely wasn't bullish. Here, we're a little neutral, but it does stand out to me of how much the bulls have dominated this upcoming week, especially because we just got rid of the JP Morgan position. That just rolled over. We're going to get a lot of clarity of what is happening with all this like tariff stuff, and that's going to be happening soon. So removing the uncertainty and then also heading into a very seasonally bullish time period, that's something of massive interest to me. So I wanted to show you that. And that's how I started off of like, okay, cool. I know where we are on the new month. I know where we are on the week, and I see what's coming down the pipeline. And then I start to dive into a lot of their other ones. Just to clarify, they have a ton of different reports where you get the breakouts, the breakdowns, fair value gaps, engulfing candles, pre-market, post-market, intraday volume. These are all the stat breakdowns that you have to have no knowledge of coding to do whatsoever. You could just come here, click it, and it's going to give you the information. So after I look at seasonality, I like to come over to the weekly, and right here, the previous week's range. So let me just show you what that would look like. As soon as you break the previous week's high or low, you're going to get various odds on the situation. So the fact that we took out last week's low, it kind of brings up the question of what are the odds of returning to last week's high? We already broke the low. That happened yesterday. So what's the chance of going all the way back up to 5787? And you can see right here that it is about 12%. Broke there, you have generally a 36% chance of breaking the previous week's high. You have a 44% chance of breaking the previous week's low. And just to clarify, this is on the last 6 months of data. Of course, you can make it larger. You could go to the past 5 years, and the odds are just like not changing that much because I'm focusing on this 12%. So the fact that we already broke this low means that you only have a 1 in 8 shot. 12%. You have a 1 in 8 shot of now breaking the other one. And that would be these exact odds right here. Broke both the previous week's high and low. It only happens 12% of the time, 1 in 8 circumstances. So would I be betting on us breaking that right now? No, because it's just not the highest odds. Of course, it could happen. It happens about 12% of the time, but it's just not something that I'm going to be betting the farm on today. Now, of course, with that, we are looking at the previous week's range. You could also do the previous day's range, and that's exactly why I like to mark out the green, the red, and the white, which is the previous day's high, low, and close. So you could do the exact same thing, and obviously you could take in more data, you could take in less data. There's a lot going on here. Highly recommend you guys checking out. But right here, when you previous day's high is broken, and then you have the odds of closing green. So basically what this is saying is that some point today, if SPX goes above 5627, if we break this high, the chance of us closing above the close, having a green day, is a 77% chance. That's a true edge. Now, you might think about that and say, okay, if there's a dip, maybe you want to take a long position. Maybe if you think we're just going to keep ripping, maybe you want to sell some puts. And obviously, the opposite's also true. If in some situation we were to dip all the way down and snap 5488, which is yesterday's low, if we were to break that, well, right here, there's a 77% chance that we close in the red. These stats alone, just this one report, is something you could build legitimately consistent, profitable strategies off of. Once again, if you want to take more of a linear product, whether it's something like futures, or I guess you could even do options on a reversal intraday and then playing it back to where you expect it to go, or if you think it's just going to keep going with whatever trend, that's a great time to sell premium. But it's these stats where you're like, okay, I know the odds that it's going to happen. You could bet accordingly. You have an expectation of risk. You have an expectation of results, or of a return. And from there, you know now if you have positive expected value or negative expected value. So this is the next thing I'll look at. And once again, we are looking at the previous day's range. If there's a giant gap, I always look at the gap fill. And once again, you could check this on anything. I'm using SPY as an example. You could do it on the futures contracts. You could do it on crypto. You could do it on your favorite tickers, such as like Tesla, Amazon, Palantir, whatever it is. All these reports you could break down with it, which is so impressively cool. But anyway, there's no major gap right now. We're not gapping up or gapping down. At least the last time I checked, we weren't gapping. Yeah, so I'm not seeing a gap on the SPY or the Qs. But if there was there, that's what I would be doing. And then it gets interesting with opening range. So this is actually something really helpful, especially if you're trading on futures, like this type of stuff. When I'm trading on Take Profit, or if I'm trading on Apex, a lot of these, you are able to get odds of the opening range breakout. So ORB, opening range breakout, you could do it by the 15 minute, you could do it by the 30 minute. Once again, you could look at the previous times, but it just gives you the odds of, in recent history, or whatever history time you're looking at, the chances of a breakout, a breakdown, and then a double break. Once again, these would be kind of a perfect setup if you're looking to trade these. What you would do is wait for whatever that opening range is, whether you do the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 15, the 30, or the 1 hour, and then you start to get the odds of not only the odds of a breakout or a breakdown, but on top of that, a potential reversal, and also you get the odds of a continuation. So it's these types of things that are massively important for you and your success. And they just rolled out the what's in play, and they've been adding to it, making it better and better. So right now we're kind of looking at the SPY. Once again, I could change it. So maybe we'll trade NQ this morning. So let me bring this up, and you can see what's going on. So we're waiting for the market to open, but anyway, it has all the odds very nicely laid out. You have the gap fill, the opening range, 15 minute, the same thing, but roughly an hour. It's called the initial bounce, rejection. So you get to watch this and get the sentiment, whether bullish or bearish. You're going to see this as soon as it opens and kind of rock it from there. So there's a lot going on. And I think to really kind of prove it to you, let me actually use it in today's trading session. I think the way I explained it, you're probably like, okay, I kind of get it, but maybe it's not fully clicking. I'm telling you, as soon as you see this thing like in real time, when the market's going and the things start to break out, break down, or we get some metrics to play off of, right away, this is going to update. You can see the sentiment. You can see various targets. You can see the associated odds. So it's really going to click. So let's just wait for the market to get going. But like I said, if you're interested in checking this out, you can get it for free. Free trial is pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. You don't have to pay anything. So not only is it a freebie, but I'm going to show you in real time what it's like to actually do it. So with that being said, let me quickly switch up to the 1 minute. We'll throw up Tesla and we'll throw up Palantir. I feel like these are probably two of the most popular stocks right now. Let me zoom in. Let's get ready for the day. We are starting off slightly bullish. These are the key levels of the day. We are going to be opening up right in this transition zone. I very much believe above this transition zone is bullish and below this transition zone is bearish, and basically anything else I would say is chop. So I would say bullish above this, bearish below this. In the middle of it, just choppity chop, 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 chop. And if we were to open right now, where are we scheduled to open? At 5594. So we are scheduled to open literally right in the transition zone. So for me, knowing that we have reports coming out at 9:45, knowing we have reports coming out at 10 a.m., knowing we're opening right in the smack dab middle of a transition zone, that is screaming to me to just wait. Just to freaking wait. So, I want to see how this opens up. I'm probably not going to be doing any swing positions today, but I very, very much want to do some of my futures trades. So we'll see what we can get cooking with today. I think I missed someone. Hey, Matt, just signed up for Discord. Currently selling covered calls to make premium. Looking forward to learning more so I don't blow up my account again. Have a good day. Shout out, Gus. I hope you crush it. And on that note, dingity ding, ding, ding. The world's largest casino is now open. Best of luck to all. Play responsibly, and if not, have fun. All right, we are waiting. And actually, I could show you right here what's in play. I'm probably going to be trading futures, but of course, you could do this on whatever you want. And let's get the what's in play. And we are open. We have the streaks. All right, we're just kind of waiting. Obviously, we're just waiting for the Orbos to build out. Some of these things just take time, but it's grabbing the data. Looks like it's all, like they even have the odds of power hour continuations, opening stats, outside days, inside days. Dude, it's so useful, and you're going to see it. As soon as this stuff starts firing off, basically we need to wait for some of these opening ranges to actually be built out. You're going to see how powerful this actually is. Let me just show you. Captain Condor is not playing today. I always like to check that out, but it's not like we see a giant Condor position. We do see some negative gamma below 5570, which would be snapping this transition zone, setting us up for a quick puke to 5550. And if it happens, it'd probably be relatively quick because of all this negative gamma. But on the flip side, if we're holding 5580, we're actually still kind of in positive gamma. And above, there's a little bit of negative gamma and then another node of positive. So up here's positive gamma, which that's more of sticky price action, while down here is negative gamma, a little bit more of like slippery, high volatility type of price action. With respect to the options flow this morning, nowhere. Mag 7 flat, little drop, little pop, now flat again. Looking at the S&P 500, flat, drop, flat, picking up. We're just literally not trending. So just waiting. Tesla just got a big bid. Looks like tech is trying to fight back. SPY, at least out of the open, is a bit weaker, while we have tech a little bit stronger right now. A little bit stronger. What do we have going on here? The 5-minute and the 10-minute are actually trying to save themselves from going bearish. They're trying to get back to the top side of their little EMA cloud here. 5-minute trying to pump, 10-minute trying to pump. All right, we don't necessarily need that. Well, here, let me show you the daily really quick. You can see after this trend line breakdown, we got potentially double bottom. And my base case, and I know this is kind of crazy to say because I think there's a lot of bearishness in the system, I think we're just getting a classic double bottom. I think we really are. I think we're going to start to pick up. This would be confirmed by taking out the Tuesday, March 25th high if we keep going. Piper, hi. How are you doing today after having an absolutely crazy morning? So this is currently the base case I'm working with. I think it has the highest probability of playing out. Is that a guarantee? No, because the major caveat is going to be what is or isn't said at this Liberation Day event tomorrow. But right now, if there's no massive surprises, I'm kind of looking for uncertainty to be removed from the system, people to start to close out their puts, maybe a little bit of a Vanna rally that gets people to buy calls, and then I'm just looking for a pretty volatile rip back to the upside. That's what I think as of now is the highest probability pathway. Obviously not a guarantee. We're in this large casino playing the game of odds, but overall, as quickly as we had this like methodical sell-off here, I'm kind of looking for that to happen right back to the upside. And I do think, once again, barring any craziness, a kind of a pop back up to 6,000. And I'd be looking for that to happen somewhere between April and May. That's my base case. So we're going to see, because it all depends on how the option structure changes. Oh, speaking of option structure changing, interesting update that I need to give you guys. So yesterday we had that giant JP Morgan position that we all know about, we were all paying attention to. And now that that has been removed, this week, if you look at Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all put together, it is still put dominated. But what's a really interesting change from yesterday to today is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, today, tomorrow, and the next day are actually now call dominated. So a little bit in the obviously the shortest of terms, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a little bit of a bullish uptick. We're not seeing it yet on Friday. Of course, if that happens, I'll let you know, because we haven't had a weekly expiration day favor the call side in quite a while. So like, I'm definitely like trying to pay attention to it. But just like literally as of right now, in the shortest of time periods, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, some period between yesterday and I guess the overnight session, maybe early this morning, it is now officially call dominated. So I wanted to point that out, that the overall thing is still put dominated, but they're kind of losing their edge a little bit. And I don't think there's going to be a big switch today, but I do think there's going to be a big switch tomorrow. So I'm excited to wake up Thursday and see how everything's gotten reshuffled, because if there is a big switch from puts to calls, and we see that in the option structure when we wake up on Thursday, that is a telltale sign to go bullish. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. I'm giving away the game plan right now. We just kind of have to have the patience to see if that does or doesn't happen. Piper is still just going nuts. What are you doing, dude? She's like just refusing to take a nap today. She's it's like I have a toddler going through like the terrible twos, except it's a vicious cat with 8 knife-like. Hear me? Hear me? Can you guys, am I back? This is going to come as a shock to you, but she's messing around with all the cords, and she just literally just is fighting the Ethernet cable, dude. What is this cat doing to me today? Stop. She's literally chewing the cords, dude. Stop. Dude, this cat is losing her mind today. Like every bad thing she could possibly do, she's like, I need to do that. And I need to do that like right now. And like it all, like, dude, all these things just got disconnected. This cat, stop going back. First thing she does is sprint right back to all the cords. Just chill, dude. She woke up and chose violence today. She undoubtedly woke up and chose violence. All right, here's a quick look. We are Mag 7, pumped until about for the first 2.5 minutes, getting clocked ever since then. S&P 500 try to hold on till about 934, and now having a little bit of a downswing. Well, catching a bid right here, but let's see. Basically, the options flow looking exactly like price. So I do want to let you know that at 9:45 we have some reports coming out, and then at 10 a.m. we have more important reports coming out. So I'm personally just kind of trying to wait for that. Matt, I'm pretty sure there's a fake you in Discord offering copy trading for Bitcoin. Can you confirm? Yeah, I mean, it's clearly a bot. Look at the name. It's going to be a different name than mine. And that's why when you join the Discord, you have to, when you first join, it says, hey, I'm never going to DM you. Then in the welcome message, I say, beware of scammers. They're scamming. And then in the Discord guy, I say, once again, be careful. They're scammers. It's called out 3 separate times in the Discord. I hope you don't miss it, and I hope you don't send them money. But no, it is obviously not me. But literally, when you join the Discord, you have to do a checkbox that says, I'm not going to DM you. The welcome message says, hang on, they're scammers, be careful. And then also in the mic is cutting out. What? Seriously, there's a... Hello. Really? Cutting in and... The mic is cutting in and out. The feedback on my side is you sound fine. All right, I guess I'll give it a second. I don't know what chord she's eating at this point, and I'm honestly at the point where I'm afraid to ask what she's done. Mic is fine. Mic is fine. Okay, the mic is fine, but I did just get weird connection issues that it couldn't get connected. Okay. As you can see, I have all my accounts here. I have not traded on them yet today. I just want to make sure that I have my copy trader set up. I do have my copy trader set up. April Fools, are you guys fooling me? Are you guys joshing me? Giving me a hard time even though I'm already having a really stressful morning? You're like, Matt is down. We might as well kick him. Did you guys just not see the entire, like, I'm already fighting with a little apartment tiger today, and you guys thought this is the moment to pile on to Matt. He is literally fighting a wild wildebeest. A wild wildebeest. And you guys are like, I think we should joke with him right now. This is the moment to see if we could get Matt to tilt. I have been bamboozled. You guys did bamboozle me, and you took advantage of a moment of weakness. One slight moment of weakness, and you guys are like, this is it. This is what we got to do to Matt. Kick him while he's down. I get it. You guys, in a rare misstep, I showed you guys my throat and you went for it. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. If I were you guys, I would have done the same thing. It just happens to be that I'm the butt of this joke. Did you guys see my April Fool's joke right here? I thought this was hilarious. I thought this was a classic April Fool's gotcha type of a thing. Adam Aron is a good CEO. I think it's awesome. I think that's exactly what I needed it to be. Just that's high tier. That's high intellect comedy, if you ask me. Mike is legit cutting in and out 100%. Guys, stop. Now I don't know if you're being serious or not. Can we just refresh? Guys, if you are not screwing with me, if you're having issues, literally reload the page. Just reload your page. I can see on my end that the mic is working perfectly fine. If you're having issues, it's on your side. Just refresh. Just refresh. It's going to be A-okay. Here's a quick look at the flow this morning. I'm kind of just waiting for this first report to come out. It was kind of bearish. Then options just pumped. We're taking a little bit of a breather right now. Looking at the Mag 7, we dumped a little bit of a pump. Now it's kind of like awkwardly indecisive. 5 minute and 10 minute are actually they're all battling it out. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute. No clear direction yet. And we're still in this choppy zone. You just got to wait. We're either waiting for this breakdown and this little puke, or we're waiting for this recovery, this upside gap fill, and then a pump to maybe 5625, 5627. Oh, for those of you who maybe I just didn't have it clean enough, these are the key levels of the day, in my humble opinion. So if you want to quickly screenshot that, obviously the high, the low, and the close from the previous session are always vitally important, not only with respect to the odds right here that we have on Edgeful, but also of just they happen to be aligned with pretty key open interest today in the options market. So always watching the high and the low and the close of the previous session. Right now, the choppy zone is right below that closing value from yesterday. So I'm definitely watching that. But like I said, feel free to screenshot this. These would be my upside targets. These would be my downside targets, bull case, bear case. And right here's my neutral kind of like do nothing type of a case. So just waiting. Ideally, one of these announcements either at 9:45, which is coming out in about a minute. Why is my clock off? What time is it? 9:40. Okay, my clock is back to being, I think it's back to where it should be. Let me see. Is the clock right? I'm just double checking that when my stuff cut out. and 30 now. Okay, cool. My clock is good. Clock is good. I was just worried. I was like, dude, what if I like am running a minute behind and I start to get weird fills? I mean, when you trade long enough, some of the strangest things start happening to you. But basically, waiting to see if we get out of this choppy zone. Of course, there might be an interesting battle at 5,600, just key technical level, key psychological level. So I'll be watching that. It is pretty much today's high, but I really wouldn't say we're getting bullish until we actually break out of the zone. And the zone is pretty much the red to green move. So kind of watching that. But on the flip side, if this report that's coming out literally just now ends up being bad, maybe there's a bit of a sell-off. The initial reaction to this, not so much, I suppose slightly down. Here's a look at the options flow. The S&P 500 just made its second high value of the day. So it was bearish up until about 937. Then we saw a pump, a pullback. Seems to be maybe potentially pumping once again. And then the Mag 7 here, same thing, selling off to about 937. And then we are just finally seeing some strength. More specifically, we do see call buying and the puts are completely flat with respect to the Mag 7. And then looking at the S&P 500, we have puts being closed out while calls are flat. But you could see there's this big chunk of puts getting closed out, not only in the 0DT, but also things farther down the line. That's what these blue lines going up. The put delta is moving higher. And then putting all the calls and puts back together, you can see this is the generic movement. So a little bit more aggression longer down, but patience. Looks like maybe the Qs want to get going here. We are 15 minutes into the day, so we now have the 15-minute Orbo. Which I'm marking it out now for you. But here's the 15-minute Orbo. Basically, you wait for whatever the time frame is. So the 15-minute Orbo, you let the first 15 minutes pass, and then you just mark out the high and the low, and you're looking for that opening range breakout. It's not just any 15-minute, it's the opening range. So you could do it with whatever, the 30-second, the 1 minute, the 3, the 5, the 10, the 30, whatever. Right now, this is the first 15 minutes have passed, and that's the high and the low. So the quick way to do it is literally go to your 15-minute chart, look at the very first candle, mark out the high and the low, or you could do it on a smaller time frame and just pay attention to the local high and the low for that particular time period. So neither the SPY nor the Qs at this moment have broken their range, but you can tell they're about to. So right here, Orbo, 15-minute, Orbo size 0.49%, current zone within Orbo, breakout, breakdown, double. It looks like NQ is also trying to, I suppose, trade back up to the closing value from the pit session right here, bias bullish, gap zone fill below previous session close. So this must be off the pit session, the 9:30 to 4. But this is what we're looking for, and you're going to see this update as soon as it happens. And then when we go for the first hour from 9:30 to 10:30, that's what's referred to as the initial balance, but it's really just a 60-minute Orbo. It's just called something because why not make trading? Okay, just cracked right there. So we just got the 15-minute Orbo breakout to the upside on both the SPY and the Qs. And let me see. Let me reload this to see if it updates. I guess not yet, but it does have 948. Did it not break on NQ? It had to break right here. The Qs are now trying to go because I'm looking at QQQ. Maybe the data here. Nope, it definitely broke on NQ. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute are bullish. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute are bullish. So right now, price momentum is favoring the bulls in the shortest time frame. 5-minute, 10-minute, 30-minute. Bullish, 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 bullish. Looking at the options flow, the Mag 7 is looking pretty strong. Looking at the S&P 500, looking pretty strong. And then obviously breakout, yes, this just updated. I got the alert. So you could see as it populates. And remember, this is all from Edgeful. You can get this for free for a month. There's a free 1-week trial pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. And let me see. That's all looking good. That's looking good. We're getting to the top of this range. So I would like to see this break. What I would like to see, an ideal trade for me, would be a breakout, a retest, and then higher. And I would want to go in right between the second and third arrow. This would be my entry point. So this is roughly the situation I'm looking for. Also, you could see here that we are above VWAP. Obviously, the EMA is trending up. This is some pretty strong price action ever since 938. This would have actually been a pretty nice trade in here on this recovery at 944 or this push here at 947, even though it's kind of tracing a new high. So I'm not necessarily in love with that. But anywhere in here, this like kind of junk, that would have all worked out obviously pretty well. You'd already be up 50 plus points depending on where your entry is. But like I said, I don't necessarily want to chase this quite yet because I still am, according to the options market, this is still the choppy zone. So we went from the bottom of the choppy zone to right now we're at the top of the choppy zone. And I just want to see if we're actually going to break out or not. So the perfect circumstance for me would be this push, this retest, and then right on that bounce to higher. That's where ideally I'd be executing my trade. So that's my trading game plan. That's what I'm waiting for. Obviously, we got this Orbo breakout, and we know the odds of what a retest or what breakout extension 0.15%. So it's looking, now that we actually cracked it, it's looking for it to go about 0.15, which we could actually mark that out right now. Let me see, a 0.15. 0.15 would be bringing, how high up would that be? About 70 cents, it looks like, on the Qs. So right here, Edgeful is calling out for a 70-cent continuation. So the breakout was at 468.50. So we'll just call it 75, and we'll call out 469.25. And actually, it hit that right away. Damn. That was a really good call out. Holy crap. Oh, okay. How are we doing this? Is this it? Is DC potential little flag breakout there? What's that risk? 26. That's only 400. That's not bad at all. We pumped, we pulled back a little bit. Let's do a sanity check here. Bullish, 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 bullish. We're right below that zone. If we were right on top, I'd feel more comfortable about it right now. Here's a look at the flow. The Mag 7 ripped up until about 950, taking a bit of a breather now. S&P 500 ripped and taking a little small breather, but obviously price action, higher highs, higher lows. Options flow, higher highs, higher lows, and then price momentum, bullish across the board, excluding the 4-hour on ES and NQ, but the 5, the 10, and the 30 on both the S&P 500 and on the NASDAQ are bullish. Right now, in the short term, the bulls are in control. What I want to see is a break and a hold of this choppy transition zone. I want to see a break and a hold of, we're just at the top of it. Pretty much we had a little bit of a gap, the same way with the bottom, but we're still in this chop zone. So I'm just kind of waiting for that to happen. And honestly, having a little bit of patience maybe isn't the worst idea, especially because we know we have an announcement coming out in about 7 minutes. We're going to get the JOLTS job openings data, and that's definitely going to have a bit of an influence on the market here. So things are getting a little bit whippy here. What in the world is going on? Mag 7 dipping a little bit. SPY is actually holding on pretty decently. So the fact that the options market is holding, I think this is just some choppy, whippy price, but that's exactly what to expect when you are in the chop zone. That's exactly why we lay out these chop zones, is to understand in which parts are we probably saying, dude, this sucks. What is this whippiness from? That's exactly this. This is right where you can see over here. It's, well, earlier today, nope, that's the same. We could see right now there's still a little bit of a negative gamma influence, but you can see the delta is going from negative to positive right at 5605, which is literally what we just ran into, this delta switch on the 0DT. So that's obviously providing not only a little bit of choppiness, but also as of now, a little bit of resistance. So watching for that delta to flip, and then the gamma would flip kind of closer up to 5630, 5625. This is all with respect to the S&P 500. So that's where we're at. Just sanity check your mic. You guys, you're hoodwinking me. You are absolutely hoodwinking me. Now, obviously, I haven't traded yet. I got really close to, almost took that breakout, and then I thought, Matt, that's really stupid. You don't want to blow out more of these accounts. Wait for the perfect setup. So that's effectively what I'm attempting to do, is waiting for said perfect breakout setup. But while we're doing that, just to remind you guys, right now, currently the best deal for sim to funded is on Take Profit. You can get 30% off and you never have to pay an activation fee. Just use that code Goonie. Let me make sure that is pinned up. So I'll give you a couple of seconds, but if you want Edgeful, it's currently pinned up, but it's still going to be in the description of the video. Here, I'm about to hot swap it out with the Take Profit. This is currently, for those of you interested in sim to fund trading, this is currently the best offer as of today. So if you are looking for an account, let me just pin this one, pin this message. Don't need that. I don't know what's going on over there. But Take Profit, you can see I have 5 of these accounts right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe that's the max you can have. And then I have 20 of Apex. But as of right now in real time, the best financial deal is this Take Profit. And just use that code Goonie, 30% off for life and never pay an activation fee. It's the fact that there's no activation fee that is making this deal like a pretty reasonable, lucrative one. So if you're looking for one, that's probably the one to go with for today. The mix really is cutting out. I don't know why people think there's April Fools is happening here. I refuse to be bamboozled again, to be hoodwinked again. Boss, when you pass the pro cost 130, not if you use the code. If you apply that code, you're gonna get it. But you have to make sure that you actually apply it. Of course, you're not going to get the deal if you don't apply the code. I mean, I literally just did this myself. If you apply the code, you get the deal. If you don't apply the code, you don't get the deal. Hey, Matt, just jumped onto stream. Anyone else noting his mic not working? Jeez, stop. Dude, you guys are screwing. I don't have the emotional fortitude to deal with these jokes today. I am being bamboozled. You guys, now you're just kind of being mean. Now you're just straight up bamboozling me. You already know that I was spending way too much time crying in the shower today. All right, we have about 3 minutes to go, 3.5 minutes to go before the next data drop. And then after that is where I'm looking to execute my trade. But you can see we got a Orbo breakout. We're now pulling back into the zone, and I'm looking for a higher low to be formed and then to play off of that. That is my goal of the day. My goal of the day is also to only trade one contract and not be absurdly degenerate about it. But let's see what the market gives us. Let's see what the market gives us. Here's a current look at the flow. Mag 7 taking a big hit starting at 950. And then looking at the S&P 500, taking a big hit starting at 955. So going into this, we are seeing a clear switch in Delta, and more specifically, it's the double doozy. People are selling calls and they're buying puts. So the Delta's dropping at double the rate. But I just want this to be a higher low. I want a classic A, B, C, D. A, B, C, D. So I just want this pullback to stay above the recent low, which is actually the low of the day. I guess I don't want the Qs to go below this 940 low either. It'd just be a better structural setup. But anyway, I'm looking for a higher low. And as soon as it shows that it might be forming a higher low, that's where I kind of want to execute my trade. And we're also right here at VWAP. So just kind of paying attention to that. Looking at this potential trend line breakout. But as you can see, I have not traded anything today. So let's see. Let's see what's going on. But we have this report coming out. Here, let me see if Rick is talking today. It's always a good day when Rick Santilli's just ripping it. Come on, Rick. Come on, Rick. Come on, Rick. Where is our boy Rick? They are on a commercial break. The programming will resume shortly. And they're just playing their weird CNBC music. Okay, so we are expecting, just to show you guys, in about a minute, we are getting the JOLTS job openings number. The forecast is 7.69 million. That is the line in the sand. And we're also getting ISM manufacturing PMI and prices. So that is all coming out in about 1 minute, right at 10 a.m. So I'm just waiting for that. Ooh, and we're already picking up. From a technical perspective, I would have liked to take this long, but it feels maybe not advisable to be doing that right before. So I kind of wish this structure that you're seeing right now in real time, I wish that were forming right after the data report, because then I'd be able to take that long. I'd be able to risk this recent low. I'd have well-defined risk. I'd have well-defined reward. It would be with the overall price momentum. It would be Are options picking back up? Options are picking back up, so I'd be looking for that to continue. That's the setup. The only thing that maybe makes it an A setup instead of an A plus is the fact that we are still in this choppy zone. But even that, you'd be able to maybe play it up to the top of the choppy zone, maybe. But we'll see. We have about 30 seconds. Hopefully they bring on our boy Rick. What is your best guess? Are you expecting a bullish push from here or a bearish drop? You have literally 20 seconds to guess. 20 seconds, guess now or forever hold your peace. Guess now or forever hold your peace. We are going in 10 seconds. 10 seconds. All right, let's bring this up. Let's see what this initial reaction is going to be. All right, where's our boy Rick? Oh, initial print low. Oh, whoa there, Tonto. Oh, and they're buying it back up. Initial print low. Looks like we gapped down by about 10 points on that one. Those were not good numbers. And this is exactly why I didn't trade before, because you have about a 50-50 chance. But I wonder if we can now recover out of this. Can we recover out of this? Where's our boy? Dude, Rick. Give us Rick. Give us Rick or give us
Good
death.
Tuesday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Sarah Eisen with Carl Quintanilla and David Faber, live as always at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. Take a look at stocks. We start off a new quarter and a new month in the red.
I guess they're not going to be giving us Rick, but what you need to know is Jolt's job openings 7.568 and the expectation was 7.66. So that job openings coming in less than anticipated. And then looking at the ISM manufacturing PMI, it came in at 49. They expected 49.5. So both job openings and the ISM coming in lower than anticipated. Both coming in lower than anticipated.
Let's get back to Rick Santelli. Hey, Rick.
Perfect timing.
Yes, let's start out with Jolt, shall we? Expecting a number for our Feb read around 7,600,000. Comes in just a smidge lower, 7,568,000.
Slightly.
7,568,000. How does that comp? Well, that would be the lowest rate on a month-over-month basis going back to, well, the end of last year when it was 7,508,000. So we see it's coming down, but we are really starting to consolidate.
5 minutes now bearish, 10 minutes now bearish, 30 minutes
We're
potentially
right
breaking,
7.5
5-minute bearish,
million.
10-minute bearish,
Let's look at
30-minute
construction
potentially
spending
breaking.
for February.
We might be
expecting up 0.3.
we might be
Carlos,
breaking the
double
other
plus,
side of this
up
range here
7
pretty
cents, almost
soon.
0.75%. That
We're
would be
about
the
to make
strongest
fresh
rate
lows.
going back to October of last year and last month. Here's the problem: minus 0.2.
We're still in the
goes to
chop zone.
minus half of 1% in the January read. Now let's look at ISM manufacturing. The PMIs,
Right at the bottom
the
now.
headline number 49.0, a little bit lower than expectations, and it puts us
Mag
back
7
in
Delta
contraction
low of the day.
territory, which means we're going back to the
SPY
end of last
low
year,
of the day.
where we basically
Everything
had all
just
12 months
started switching
under
pretty
50,
hard at
and January,
9:55
February of this
and
month
sped
were
up right
above
at 10.
50, and of course this is a March reading. If we look at prices paid, we'd prefer they go down, but that's not the case. 64 plus expected, 69.4. 69.4. That would be the highest rate. We have to really go back on this. That would be the highest rate going to, well, June of 22. June of 22. If we look at 45.2, that's
We're gonna
new
get the old
orders.
triple
That's
bottom here?
definitely about 3 points light and sequentially lower. 45.2 would be the weakest rate since May of 23. And finally, if we look at the employment side, employment at 44.7, an important week. Of course, we're going to have
keep
Wednesday
going.
and Friday employment reports. 44.7 is about 3 points less than expectations, and that would
That
be
delta's
the
not
weakest
good.
level going back to.
Look at all
well,
those zero DT puts that were bought.
Mid last
Just
year,
an absolute
And here's
waterfall
something we
of
wanna pay
zero
attention
DT
to.
puts.
Every single number here, but prices paid, is sequentially lower. And it's
are they about to get
unfortunate because
burned?
Prices paid is the one you really want to be sequential.
All right, you get the idea. Things came in slightly below expectations, and we were selling off at 9:55. A little bit of a reversion into the announcement. Then the announcement, there was a gap down and a little bit of a capitulation. Now everyone's saying, "Yo, is this a double bottom? Are we just going to be bouncing off the intraday low here?" or are we going to crack this and keep going? What happened was right at the announcement. Let me show you the right here. The light blue are the 0 DTE puts right at this announcement. Well, really a minute past, someone bought a shitload of 0 DTE puts, and they are holding pretty steady on that, while a little bit of calls got sold. So basically the green line is the delta for calls, obviously dropping since 955. And then the light blue, the teal, whatever you want to call it, is the delta for puts. Obviously, if these things drop, that's bearish. If they're picking up, that's bullish. And right here, you could just see a literal waterfall of 0 DTE puts, and they are not giving away. They are holding. And then that all happened as calls were also being dropped. And then with that, that's on the 0 DT. Of course, we could put all of the expiration together, and you can see a similar situation. Calls are dropping, puts are dropping, so the delta basically just bleeding off right there. Maybe it saves itself from a technical standpoint. We are right at this could be a double bottom bounce, but for me to believe that, I would first have to see the options picking up back up a little bit. I wouldn't just arbitrarily be, price is kind of getting wonky. We're all over the place. Yeah. You have the Bulls and the Bears battling it out, and I know that I don't need to be in the middle of the fight between the Bulls and the Bears, so I'll let both those groups absolutely slug it out, and I'll just come back and wait to see who the winner is, and then I'll just trade with that person. But right now, I mean, we're within the 15-minute Orbo. We're within the chop zone for the gamma and the delta on the 0 DTE. No one's in control right now, folks. If you are trading, good luck to you, because you're just trading in chop. I hope you get lucky. I hope it goes right to your profit target and you make money anyway. But right now, I just, what's the edge? There is no edge right now. So just be careful. Be careful. So patience. Oh, let's see if we have any update here. Breakout, yes. What do we have here? The gap was filled at 948, right as we were pushing that Orbo. The average range. Oh, wow. This is calling for large moves. The average daily range, only 33% was filled. No outside. We have an inside bar. It's cool just to see these cards, these metrics. Oh, we got the double break. Not only did we break outside to the top side of the range here, we now just snapped the bottom side, snapping the initial low at 943 on the SPY, snapping the low at 935. But now, earlier today, right before we started to capitulate at 955, clearly we had this, and now it's getting a little bit brutal. That just shows you how quickly things switch. I mean, we went from being bullish on price momentum, bearish. So it switches that quickly, especially when you come in such an indecisive manner. And we're actually now out of the chop zone. So I'm going to be looking at it like this. If we can push back up in here and just kind of get sucked back up into the chop, okay, whatever. We're still chopping around. On the other side, though, if we are holding below it, I would be looking at my next target of 5,550, trying to get in with a low risk entry just in case you're wrong. But this would be my next target, about 25 points below where we are right now, which is about $2.50 on the SPY. So that would be bringing us to about 553 if you just need a rough comparison. But Tesla's really not doing much. Palantir's not doing much. VIX is starting to pick up. Tesla's actually one of the few in the green. All right, so we are below VWAP. We got a little bit of this puke. What time was this? Oh, that was super early this morning, 9:38. Yeah, we had this kind of puke right here that we're paying attention to. It snapped below it, punch back up, now seems to be reversing. You have like a 2 standard deviation move all the way down here at 19,312, maybe 300 is a good target. But I mean, if you were to enter short right here, you do have well-defined risk. You're kind of chasing the low of the day, but hey, maybe the low of the day is about to get worse. Not the biggest fan of chasing it, but also you have minimal risk. I mean, right now, That's a 15-point difference. That's really not much of a risk based on current volatility. And you're trading with VWAP. What do we have going on? What do we have? What's the flow look like right now? Here's a look at the Mag 7. Just hit the low of the day, getting a little bit of a bounce. Looking at the S&P 500, also the low of the day. This is looking pretty heavy. Bearish, 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 bearish. Yeah. SPY finding a bit of support at 555, which happens to be the low from 2 trading sessions ago. And it looks like the Qs are finding support pretty much at their intraday low. Doesn't seem to be really major beyond that. But I do want to let you know we did crack to the bearish side of this chop zone. So the longer it remains below this, the more, in my opinion, it is that I think the odds of us going to 5,550 increase the longer we don't get back up into this. So basically waiting to see, do we have a real reversal, or is it going to be like a little bit of a dead cat bounce situation and we end up just like puking anyway? If we start to turn back over, that's probably going to be my opportunity to strike and see if I can have a quality trade on these accounts, but we'll see. We'll see. Let me bring up the options flow on this monitor. All right, we're going for it. I wish I was a little bit earlier. I was about 10 points late to that trade. Should have been in at 40. Instead, I got to fill at 30. But not a horrible situation. All right, moving my risk a little bit, and we're going to see what we can pull out of the rabbit hat today. My entire goal with this is just to be a fisherman. You never know which cast of the lure you're going to actually catch something on, so sometimes you're just fishing. And I am trading this on all 25 accounts. I have 20 Apex and 5 Take Profit. That's the max that you could have on each, 20 on Apex, 5 on Take Profit. So obviously 20 plus 5, that's where I'm getting the 25 from. And we're going to see how this goes today. I would love to just do a basic trend following thing, but I have to have kind of quite a tight stop just for pullbacks. And also, I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but when it bounces out of the 2 standard deviation line, which is this golden line, there are pretty good odds suggesting that whatever that trend is going to take a bit of a breather. And that's literally what just happened. We puked to it and then we recovered here, and now we're already bouncing back out. So that sucks to be me, because it's already eaten $30 into my drawdown. So I have $600 less of drawdown. All right. If I can get lucky here, if there's a puke and we can take out this intraday low, I'm going to move my stop to basically break even. So at least I'm not costing myself any money. That's probably the smart way to handle this. But there's smart and then there's lucky. Let's see what I'm going to be today. There is smart and then there is lucky. And I would prefer luck. Here, let me switch over to the 30 second. You can see it had a bullish shot up until 950. And then since then, the Mag 7 is getting hit. Same thing a little bit later on the SPY, but at 954, 955, people, as if they almost knew what these reports were going to be a little bit later, but that's where we're at. Here, I need to go back to babying this position. All right. All right. Oh, there's too much on these charts. That's too confusing. I just need to see this. Come on. Currently up, it looks like $600 across all 25 accounts. So basically, whatever I'm up on one account, just multiply that by 25. Or same thing, if I'm down, just multiply that by 25, and that's where we're at. But I'm nervous of this bounce out of the 2 standard deviation move, as previously discussed. It's just high odds of a reversal. And the reversal would be going against me, eating into my drawdown. So part of me actually is thinking about moving my stop to this 307, because no matter what, I'd be guaranteeing some profit. That's That's where my mind's currently at, but I keep checking the options market over here on this other monitor. The Mag 7 Delta is currently puking, and so is the S&P 500. So I think I just need a little bit of patience, but I also need a little bit of luck that there's not just like a random pop back up. But right now, the options flow is favoring me. Price action, not so much. I really can't have it be coming above this golden line. Come on. Come on, Tonto. Come on, Tonto. What are we doing? What are we doing? Get smacked. Stop this. It's having a tough time snapping 300. Having a tough time snapping 300. All right, here, let me go to the 3 minute, the 3 minute, the 3 minute, the 3 minute. Bearish, 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 bearish. We are, like I said, as soon as we snap this, this would be my target. If you're looking for something to have an intraday trade on, 5565 never doesn't really matter anymore because JP Morgan doesn't have that position. I really do think we have a natural magnet to 5,550, just a key OI level. But fuck, it's these bounces, dude. Fuck. It just eats into your drawdown so much. This is what I'm talking about. Like the second you get out of these, you get these pops. Come on, can I get lucky? Can I be on the right side of luck today? Can your boy be lucky? Okay, it's getting smacked. I like that. Come on. Keep the party going. Keep the party going. Keep the party going. Watch out, Matt. Dude, you always got to watch out. In this day and age, with all this political turmoil, with all the danger on the streets, with the avatar vanishing, you always got to be on the watch out. You never know when the Fire Nation's going to attack. You never know when the Fire Nation's going to attack. Come on, brother. Come on. I guess I can see if I move the stop here. Now, I guess I should clarify this. If I already had a buffer, like a large buffer, and I'm just looking to like not play the game of realized versus unrealized, like if I was just doing a legitimate trade, not worrying about buffer whatsoever, I'd be moving my stop to this high. I'd be slightly in the money and I'd have a free lotto ticket play. And if it pukes, it pukes. And if it comes against me, it comes against me. Like that's just a good play. You're protecting your downside, and then you still have a little bit of skin in the game. So if you're lucky, you get to catch like kind of the waterfall capitulation. So if I did not have to worry about the buffer, so if these accounts were a bit more mature, if I had more money in them, once again, if I was trading my own account, not the sim to funded, my stop would be right here. I would classify, I'd put it in at 25, 24. I'm slightly in the money. And hey, if you catch a fall, you catch a fall. And then if it comes against you, whatever, you made a little bit of money and there's always going to be another trading day tomorrow. So that's what I would be doing in that circumstance. But I'm in a different circumstance where the accounts are brand new and I have to worry about the buffer build out, and the math just gets a little bit more complicated. So I need to take on a little bit more risk because, if that hits it, it's based on your unrealized high, and that's 90. I mean, it's going to be a $700, $800 difference. So that just eats in your buffer, and it's just a huge pain in the dick. So that's, I guess, to clarify, if you were trading right now with a buffer, I think it would be, from a risk perspective, advisable to put your risk right in that high. And as long as we continue with this trend, you are A-okay. And if you catch the puke, you catch the puke. Maybe it happens, maybe it doesn't. I need to take on a little bit more risk than maybe I'm jazzed to do at the moment because of the buffer build out. But I do like that. Hope that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? I would love to see a fresh low. I would love to see a fresh low. And surprise, surprise, we are right back at that 2 standard deviation move right here, this golden line. I'm happy that we got smacked to it, but any of these pops out of it have been pretty aggressive. They've been... That's honestly the dumbest way to do daily drawdown. Yeah, because they want you to blow out, of course. It's not the dumbest, it's the least favorable to you, the trader. Folks, when it comes to sim to prop trading, I know that all the marketing is, hey, we're looking for good traders to partner with, blah, blah, blah. No. It is you against them. They want your money. You want their money. Whoever's better is going to win the money. If you're a better trader than their rules, you get money. If their rules are better than you are a trader, well, they're going to take your money. I really don't like this messaging from the sim to prop world that like, we're in this together. We're a team. The fuck you are. You want their money, you're trying to take it. They want your money, they're trying to take it. If you're a good enough trader and can abide by the rules, you can make a lot of money. If you can't, well, they're going to keep your money. So it's not dumb. It's actually smart. They're intentionally using these rules because they know it makes it more difficult on you. It's just Top Step doesn't do it like that. Each one has their own nuanced rules, but trust me, none of these guys are different. It's slightly different rules, but some are more advantageous for your trading style. Some are less advantageous for a trading style. So that's more of like a you specific thing of like, where are your odds good? But like to think that like one is like magically amazing and they're there for you and all the other ones aren't. No. They all are trying to take your money, and on all of them, you're trying to take their money. Like, don't let anyone bullshit you that one is somehow like, oh no, these ones really care about you, and then somehow the other ones don't. No. That's not how this world works, folks. That's not how this world works, folks. All right, we're cooking. This really isn't my price target or my profit target. I'm just kind of like arbitrarily doing that. All right, I need to move my stop down to here just so I don't get completely fucked. But we're cooking. I mean, it's a good initial day. So I'm short at 330. I just moved my stop to 304. So no matter what, I'm making about 25 points. So no matter what, I'm making $500 per account. Once again, I have 25 accounts. So no matter what, 12.5K. But. I'm gonna have to make 4K. I need to do some quick math. 330 minus 255. I don't like this balance out at all, actually. Shit.
Order canceled.
Well, that happened real quick. Fuck me, dude. This measurement that I now have far less of a drawdown possible. Fuck that, dude. So even though you make money, yeah, it's basing my unrealized high off of 51.3, and as you can see, my account is at only 50.5. So now there's an $800 difference, and your buffer's only 2.5K. So that eats quite a bit of a way into it. It happens. It's just the rules of the road. I mean, you guys are mad about the rule, but it just, you're kind of choosing to engage in it. And if you do it, so basically the way around it is when you're first building out the account before you have the buffer, you go for small measured profit targets, like right away. You don't try to do trend following. I'm naturally trend following trader, so it is kind of difficult. But if you're more of like, nope, like I'm looking for measured profit targets or mean reversion. But if you have a specified profit target that you hit it and you hit it and you hit it, you're never going to have that issue. So like if you are first building out the account, obviously it is advisable. Actually, I would be back at my break even, so it'd be even worse right now. So, hey, at least I got out at somewhat of a reasonable time. Is this going to fall back over? Am I going to be able to double dip here? A little bit of a pop. If this fails again, I might just take advantage of it again and see if I could get lucky. now that I have to build up some of that fucking buffer. Oh, what a pain in the ass. What a pain in the ass it is. Here's a look at the flow. Mag 7 catching a pop right here. Potential double bottom on the Mag 7 Delta. Here's a little bit more of a refined view. Double bottom at 1021, getting a little bit of a pop. I'm curious if it'll hold or not. The SPY is actually really picking up ever since 1013. The longer duration is going nuts, and then the 0 DTE not so much. What is happening there? Large amount of longer duration puts closed out on the SPY. You can see starting here at 1013, the dark blue line just skyrocketing. That is specifically not 0 DT. So it has nothing to do with the option structure for today, but a big chunk of puts closing out for somewhere down the line, not on the 0 DTE. Looking at the Mag 7, same thing right here. You have a little bit of call buying, you have, but more so these puts being closed out for this Friday, and also longer duration. Interesting. Why are someone doesn't want to be in puts anymore? Maybe they know what the hell's going down tomorrow. Lots, like randomly, but a lot of non-0 DTE puts. That delta is just skyrocketing, and it's actually bringing us right back into the chop zone. So I don't know. I feel like I traded what the market gave me today. I went short there. I collected here. I am worried about this delta, though, this differential. That's 45 points. That's $800+ differential. Fuck. So I just have much less of a buffer to work with in terms of my drawdown. But we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, we're coming right. Maybe it'll fail right here. I keep coming back to see if we're seeing any moves. Option, look at that. Just a huge pop. The all expiration delta almost hit a fresh high, while the 0 DT is kind of at a fresh low here. Huh. All right. Interesting. Interesting setup on the day. I'm not quite sold on if this pump is a dead cat or if we're actually going to start trending back up. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 30-minute are bearish. The 5-minute, the 10-minute, and the 30-minute are bearish. So price momentum is still bearish. Options flow is the tough read right now because it was clearly bearish up till 1021. Then we popped, and since then we're going neutral. So kind of waiting to. But what is happening? Look at this. A giant chunk of calls was just purchased. Once again, not a 0 DT, but look at that orange bar just now. Huge call position. Once again, not a 0 DT. What the? Someone. So all these puts are getting closed. Someone just bought a grip of calls, and none of it is 0 DT. There's some big shifts happening in the market. A big shift. Do you have content explaining how prop accounts work? I'm interested in it. Yeah, it's all on the Velvet. Oh, hang on, are we turning? I don't want to miss this if it is a turn. Oh, are we actually? Because obviously, if we take this breakdown, your risk is just this recent high. But is it with trend? That's taking a bit of a smack. Mag 7. Or are we going to double bottom here? I'm looking at this low at 1024. We just overshot it. Right here, a little bit more of a refined view. We just took this out, but is that just a brutal trap? Just like wicked right below it? Or are we actually going to get smacked here? Trying, basically, you either had bull stepping in or bears just playing it to that level, barely made a fresh low. People who are using that as their risk got wicked out, and then it popped anyway. This is why it's really, really not advisable to chase breakdowns, because this stuff happens all the time. all the time. Yeah, that's brutal. That's just dirty. People had sitting orders right there, played it around. People who had the balls to buy that dip, which that's a ballsy move. Hey, congrats. That paid off nicely. You're already up 40 points. What in the world do we have going on today? Maybe the choppiness is even more. Do I want to do this? This is a tough read. Look at here. I'll show you what's going on with options. How messed up is this? The all expiration is picking up again while the 0 DT is still like just trash. Something is happening farther out on the option chain. It's not dependent on today. It's something farther out, but that's a weird move. That's a very, very strange move. Look at the huge difference between the 0 DT and the all expiration. Huge difference. While the Mag 7 popped together and now they're just kind of flat. And that's kind of what we're seeing here is we saw this big pump. We saw the pullback, maybe a higher low, kind of wick this out. Then we're pumping again. Is it going to break? Is it not going to break? Your guess is as good as mine. Your guess, technically, maybe you could call this a bit of a breakout. Your risk isn't that bad. SPY's picking up. The SPY delta is picking up, I should say. We're right in this chop zone. Does it just want to get sucked back up into here? Risk isn't that bad. Mag 7. SPY. We're trending up ever since 1021. A little bit of a bull flag breakout here. A little bit of a bull flag breakout. 400s all the way back up here. That's what we saw right at 10:05. Oh, so many things to figure out. So many things to compute. Do I like this trade? I can tell you I don't love it. I can tell you I definitely don't love it. I'm getting thrown off by the all expiration S&P 500 movement. Someone is aggressive down the line here. But ever since the intraday low, obviously we have a higher high, we have a higher low, higher high. So clearly things pivoted here. So this really was a good exit. Do I think we continue? Do I think we continue? We're trying to get right back into this zone. I'm just curious if it'll actually hold or not. Because we have this trend. Like, is it trying to get... We're just battling it out at 80. This is a key open interest level. Who's going to win this battle? The bulls were able to fight back up there, but do they have enough to like actually get it over this open interest level? It's kind of stalling out. Tesla's looking good. Tesla's been good over the past 10 minutes or so. It's up a nice 3%, up at 267. It's quite the recovery. What? Like, it's just so... What the fuck is this difference? I don't really recall a day that I've seen that much. Mag 7 is actually attempting to potentially pop off here. But see how we're just kind of stalling? I think what's stopping this from getting back up is the 0 DT S&P 500 is not looking so good. We're seeing a little bit of solid. The Mag 7, dude, what the fuck is this? Did this breakout fail? We just put in this high. We're right at the trend line. Is it going to bounce here? Or are we going to snap some of these lows? What a read. I don't know. Looks like pretty fucking messy to me. Pretty messy to me, folks. Oh, I don't know if it should be bullish or bearish here. I don't think the market knows what the hell it wants to do. Lower high? Well, not technically. This would be right here. There's a local high. There's a local high. That's a higher high. And then this one also took out the highs from 1008 and 1010. So that is a fresh high. To call that a lower high is not accurate. It took out the 1026 high. It took out the 1010 high. It took out the 1008 high. So that's definitely a fresh high, but there was no follow through. The market got up there for a second, smacked it. Same thing where here, technically it was a fresh low. We did in price go below it, but it was there for a second, and then we just quickly popped. Looks like some April Fool's trickery. It could be. It could be. We do have a succession, though, of higher lows, like the low of the day, the next low, potential trend line support, recapturing this EMA. Oh, but you could also just overall just call this a choppy fucking mess. We got a nice move up till 1023, a flush, a pump, and then since then, a pump, a drop, a pump, a drop. It's just not really trending anyway. Even, yeah. You could see as soon as options started to get a little bit funky here, we got that nice move till 1026 and kind of drifting up, kind of like prices. So my thought is, if I go long, my normal account, a normal circumstance, I would use this recent low as my risk. But remember, the math of the unrealized drawback and the realized is different. So I think you have to take a bit more risk. A bit more risk. Okay, what am I in at?
Order submitted.
65. All right, that's the max target I'm going to go for. 50 points. We're going to see. We're going to see if we're actually getting a trend switch. I guess the thesis on this trade is just getting sucked back into this chop zone. They try to break it down, but it looks like it's fighting. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Like I said, trading a quote-unquote normal account, I would literally be using this 1033 as my risk. That would be my risk point. Maybe if I had a bit more of a buffer, I'd be using the 1028 low, and then I would just see how it plays out. I'm not necessarily afforded that leeway just because these accounts are so new that I need to trade them slightly differently until I can ideally build up the buffer. So this is my max profit. If it turns before then, like let's say, for example, it's getting smacked at 400, of course I would get out early. So I'm not necessarily beholden to this profit, but I do have to be mindful because I have $1,700-ish of a pullback, which is not great. That's about 80 points. Ugh, it'll get messy. Maybe I just do use that, but that's going to eat even more into it, dude. The realized versus unrealized. When it only matters when you're first building the accounts, and then after that, it just doesn't matter. But like that's why getting these accounts off the ground is by far the most difficult task. And then the farther you get it up off the ground, it becomes easier and easier and easier. So like, your first day trading is your hardest one, and the next hardest day is day 2, then day 3, and then day 4, and then day 5. But it's just getting started is by far the most difficult point, and we are stalling out right here. It is what it is. The die are in the air. The die are in the air. Tesla's going. Here's a look at the flow. Mag 7, bullish, bearish, bullish. S&P 500 bullish, bearish, and then getting really bullish for longer duration shit. We are very much back in this chop zone. Oh, holy fuck. Hey!
Order canceled.
Hey! Would you look at that? Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Would you just look at it? Look at that. It was a read. And talk about patience. I had to wade through all that. And I was like, should I go along here? Should I go along here? Should I go along here? And finally, I just got in, only took a little bit of heat, and then it popped, but made a nice $1,500 on 25 accounts. So what's that? 30 grand? 30 grand? 5 of these are still in the eval stage, the take profit, but these are all in the performance. So this is legit money I could actually work with. And now the beautiful thing about using that profit target is now my realized and my unrealized peak are the exact same value, which is kind of how you have to trade when you're first trading with these accounts. But that's a real beaut, Clark. It worked out. Hey, all right. I know where I'm going to overstay my welcome. So the fact that I probably should just call it there. Got a nice snag on that one. Do I have any other weird lines I need to delete? Yeah, but hey, we showed 2 trades. First one made 500. Next one made 1,000 for a total of 1,500. I did that. I copy traded that on 20 of the Apex accounts. So that's 30 grand there. And then there's another, I guess, 5 plus, but these are the evals, so these really don't matter right now. What matters at the moment is these ones, because that's now, if I keep trading well, that's going to be real money that I could actually use. But that's also a giant if. So you don't just worry about one good trading day. Obviously, you have to consider other things like the other 7 days you have to trade, because you have to trade for 8 days to be able to do a request. So this is once again, just a step in a very, very long journey. And if you can successfully complete the journey, you can get a shitload of money, but it's not something you just do overnight. It takes a grind and a grind and a grind. So pretty good initial rip to all this. We're kind of got lucky on this pop here at 1038, playing it back into the zone. Don't necessarily need that. I'm surprised that we bounced at 60, not at 50, but I suppose it is what it is. That's why you would have your risk being set. And at this point, you're looking to see if if the market can continue to push and take out the top side of this and maybe break 610, 612, and maybe go to 625, something like that. Something like that. A little something. Oh, what do we do? What does this flow look like now? Wow. Look at all those calls. That call delta just popping. Pippity popping. Mag 7 also getting a nice pump. 5 minute and 10 minute back to being bullish. 30 minute trying to save itself. 5 minute, 10 minute, 30 minute. Yeah, that stuff's all recovering right now. Interesting. Interessante, mi amigo. Interessante. Piper, where are you? All right. If you're in the Discord, I'm trying to put in Piper right now. Okay. What to do? All right, if you are in the Discord, let me just double check that I don't have any stupid typos or anything like that. All right, this all does appear to be correct. All right, if you're in the Discord, Piper just fired, just put that in there. You are good to go. Obviously, you guys saw this. I have 20 Apex accounts. I have the 5 take profit. If you guys are curious, right now, the best deal for SIMDA funded is on take profit. So use that code Goonie. You get 30% off for life and never have to pay an activation fee. Once again, the code Goonie. This is the most financially reasonable offering right now is on Take Profit Trader, pinned to the top of chat in the description of the video. When you are checking out, to actually get the discount, there's going to be a coupon code area. You have to put it in, because if you don't, you're not going to get the discount and you're not going to get the, credit for the activation fee. So make sure when you are checking out in the coupon section, putting in that code Goonie, and those are my 5 right here. Take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit, take profit. I'm using those 5 right there. Using those 5. All right, let me switch this up. All right, what is today? What is today? Today. What is this Friday? This Friday is the 4th. Whoa. All right. I'm thinking about an order, but how much do I want it? Do we have a little bit of a... I'm thinking about an order, but do I really, really want this trade? Mag 7 is looking strong. SPY looking strong. A little bit of a pullback right here. Getting pretty close, right, to the intraday high. Did we take it out? Yeah, technically we just made a new intraday high on the SPY and the Q. Oh, technically both the SPY and the Qs just made a new intraday high. Interesting. A little bit of a profit taking, a little bit of a reaction right here. The Qs are trying to go green, so they're getting smacked at their red to green move. But right now, I mean, the Mag 7, that is some legit momentum. It stalled out a little bit right there. Looking at the S&P 500, ripped all the way up, taking a little bit of a breather. Yeah, some calls are being monetized. That's pretty much it. Basically, you had some aggressive 0DT call buying that as soon as we hit the intraday high, taking some profits, and it's also right at this key level of 5,600. We're still in the chop zone. Basically, we almost broke down, but we didn't. We almost broke out, but we didn't. Then at 9:55, the options market turned really south. Then we got the announcement at 10, and then that was enough to crack out of the zone, and we puked, but we undershot this target. The bulls stepped in basically early at 10:21, kind of undershooting this target of 5,550 by about 8 points. Then we popped up, had a tough time getting back into this zone right here. Rejection. Then we finally did. And now we're literally right back at the intraday high, wondering, can we get this breakout? If we do get the breakout, obviously there's a key open interest level here. This is overall just a choppy mess. Right outside of it is the red to green move. And then from there, if we do break and hold, I'd be looking at the key open interest level of 5625 because it's right in line with yesterday's high. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to. Here's the Mag 7 looking strong as ever. Here, let's go to the 30 second. Yeah, that's strong. SPY's trying to pick back up. Trying its a little hard out. Tesla's going nice. Tesla's up 4.4% right now. Oh, are you guys buying this, or do you think it's going to get faded? I have a feeling we're going to get the follow through at least to a point of testing this breakout somewhere between 610 and 612. But yeah, I mean, big pump, profit taking right at 5,600. But now maybe 5,600 turns into support. It is a key technical level. It is a key psychological level. There's a lot going on in there. Rejection, breakout, couldn't hold, puke, and then running right back up to it, broke above it, and kind of watching it, 5,600. Trying to decide what I want to do here. What do I want to do this trade, or do I not want to trade today? All right. Twist my arm. All right. If you're in the Discord, I don't know. If it makes money, I'll seem smart. If it loses money, I'll seem stupid. So it's one of those trades, you know? If it works out, you're a genius. If it doesn't work out, you're a dumbass. So we're going to see. All right, I'm taking a quick screenshot. Oh, where is it? We'll put it in here. All right. The idea... Okay, just put that in there. Can you help me out? Looking at selling covered calls way out January 26th, close to in the money. If it hits the strike next week, do the shares get called away instantly? I get paid and can rebuy. I keep the premium. Only if the person who, if they choose to exercise it early, would be the only way that would happen. So if you're trading American style contracts, they could be exercised early. American style is something like any equity you could think of. I don't know what your underlying is, but the only way that wouldn't happen is if you use a European style contract, which is something like SPX. But if your strike is hit, that doesn't mean that it's auto exercised. It could be exercised at any point, but the odds of that happening are not high. Not high. And it's impossible for that to happen on something like, so it could happen on SPY because that's American style. SPX is European style, and it can't happen there. Cannot happen there, just to be clear. And just so you know, because I've been using these terms a lot lately of American and European style, it has nothing to do with America or Europe or anything with the countries at all. I don't know why they got the name American European. It's kind of stupid. And I think if anything, it prompts a bit of confusion, but it's just what it's called. So the actual indices, SPX, NDX, RTY, volatility, VIX, those are all European style contracts. And then pretty much every other thing you can think of, SPY, Qs, Tesla, MicroStrategy, NVIDIA, Broadcom, all of these are referred to as American style contracts. The major difference between them is that American style is asset settled, as in like the real shares, while European is just cash settled, the financial difference between wherever you're at and also the strike of your contracts. So because they're actually asset settled, American style contracts, there is risk of early exercise. There's pin risk, which could cause your account to get margin called. So there's other things you have to consider when trading American style contracts that you don't when trading European. What about individual equities? All individual equities are American style. Every single equity you can think of, like a company, like a company's ticker, is going to be American style. There's no European style equivalent to Tesla or something like that. There's only a few European style contracts. It's a very small list. It's literally SPX, NDX, RTY, XSP, VIX, and maybe like one more that I'm forgetting about. I don't even think that there's 10 European style contracts. And then all the rest are American style. SPY just hit a fresh high, and I'm basically just looking for this breakout. We're coming for, remember, this is the chop zone, so we broke out of it. The bulls were not having it. The bears weren't strong enough. Sucked back up into it. Above this is bullish. Below this is bearish. So I'm looking for this breakout. But be careful here. The first test is probably going to get rejected because it's a red to green move. Yesterday, SPX closed out at 5611.84. So this is the red to green move. As you can see, we are slightly red, but this will be the red green test where generally a lot of people react to it. I wouldn't be so surprised if we see some zero DTE call buyers, this green candle, start to drop as they just take profits. So I would love for a break and a rip, but just be prepared if there's a bit of a reaction right at the level we're at. The Qs are taking out the high from yesterday. Imagine if I rode this. Where did I get out? I got out at 415. It's now literally 70 points higher. These would be up another $1,400. So I'd be up about $3,000 on the day, but I'm fine without that because these are limited at 1,500. It's silly to go beyond that when you're trying to pass them on a test. So anyway, I could have rode it, but then I would have pumped. It would have pulled back. I would have been angry at myself. Then I would have been happy. Then I would have been angry. Then I would have been happy. So I'm happy that I got out on that initial risk, and because you never know where the next bar is going to go. You never know where I'm not even showing this to you. Sorry, my apologies. This is what I'm talking about. This is where I got out at 15. We're already trading up here at 85. I'd be up an additional 70 points, which would be another 1,400. So these would all be 3K. But like I said, I would have felt smart, then I would have felt dumb. Then smart, then dumb. Then smart. Honestly, on this knock at 32, I might have just got out there on that fresh low, and it just ended up being a fake out. It happens. Shit happens, dude. That's pretty much the motto for life is shit happens. But like I said, if you want to trade those right now, Take Profit Trader is currently the best deal. Make sure you use that code Goonie when you're checking out. 30% off for life and never pay an activation fee. The lack of an activation fee is why this one is currently the best deal in the market. SPY, Qs are having a tough time at the high from yesterday. Tesla's going, dude. Tesla's up a nice 5% right now. Is there anything outpacing Tesla? Microsoft is looking good. DJT is up 2.5%. Ripple's up 2%. Solana's up 2%. Tesla is winning the game today, up 5%. Old Tesla's winning the game. All right. See how this wasn't that special of a call out, but literally I said, hey, be careful if we get rejected here. Not only are you breaking out of a transition zone, which is not easy to do, but you're also right at the resistance of yesterday's close, the red to green move. No surprise, we ran right up to it and just didn't keep going the way we did on previous candles. People are naturally going to react to these levels. That's just part of trading. You kind of have to just get used to it. Just a part of trading. Here's a quick look at the current option structure. Positive delta, and we are now in positive gamma. So we're getting more into that sticky zone, but you can see we are transitioning from negative gamma to positive gamma on the 0DT, and the delta is long delta. We're above this node. The major open interest node of the day is 5,600. So if we stay above that, maybe we go to this next node at 5,650, but I'm watching 5,625. I just saw some action there earlier, so kind of watching this node. But there's another node all the way up to 5,650, so I didn't want to call that out to everyone. 56, yeah, right here, 20. You can see this node, which is kind of why I'm paying attention to it. There's quite a bit of volume trading there today. So I like being on top of 5,600. Next node is at 5,620, 25, and then from there you're talking 5,650. And this is a lot of sold calls, as in positive gamma, as in a very sticky situation. So looking at trace, you could see all this purple, positive gamma. 5650 is a negative gamma node, so if we get sucked into that, that could be a bit more interesting. But then even above that, you have even more positive gamma. So that's currently the structure. I wouldn't expect craziness like those giant negative gamma days. So if anything, I would love for this just to slowly but surely grind higher. At least up to yesterday's high. Speaking of which, the Qs took out the close and the high from yesterday. The SPY is at the closing value from yesterday. So if it can actually get pumping here, I would love to see it take out 561. The SPX equivalent is 5627. And that's it. Puts. Why are you guys trying to get puts on NMAX? What the fuck is NMAX? Are you guys just asking about some random ass thing? Newsmax? Isn't this the new, like it started trading yesterday. This is a public debut of that. It's like a right-leaning media company. It just debuted yesterday, ripped from 15 up to 90, up to 190, down to 130. I never trade new debuts like this. I think you have no edge. There's like inherently, if you're a person trading off of data, as in indicators and highs and lows, when something just starts trading, you have nothing to base it off of. Nothing to base it off of. IPO today, it did not IPO today. It was trading yesterday. You could see right here, literally yesterday, Monday, March 31st, it started trading at 1050. It IPO'd yesterday, not today. But I think you're wasting your time. I think you're wasting your time and wasting your money trading that type of stuff. There's just like nothing to go off of. Nothing to go off of. Blue PA and pass another eval. Well, keep at it, man. It's not something that you're going to figure out overnight. And trust me, as a person who's blown hundreds of these, it's just par for course. Don't beat yourself up too bad. Don't beat yourself up too bad. Would you trade a SpaceX IPO later this year? I wouldn't trade it. I would invest in it because I just want to be in SpaceX in the long run. But I actively trading fresh IPOs, what's your edge? Like truly, that's like, it's as simple as that. What is your edge? And most people would say, I don't have an edge. And it's because you don't have an edge. You have no idea what there's no data, there's no charts, there's nothing to go off of. You've blown hundreds? Yeah. Literally, I'm on PA account number 500. Joe, seriously? You can't, it doesn't take Sherlock Holmes to figure that one out. I'm on PA account 521 to 540, as in what happened to the other 520. You don't have to be a master puzzle solver to figure that one out. The only little thing I'm going to say on that is the first 200. The first 200, I'm going to kind of blame on you guys. If if you guys remember back in the heyday, I let you guys trade them all, and I just did a poll, and whatever you guys voted bullish or bearish, I literally just took those trades at open. So is it my fault? Well, technically, because it's under my name, and I also presented the game to you guys. And then from there, we had the YouTube versus Rumble. So like that was the whole thing where YouTube voted, Rumble voted, and then I used to trade those. Like it's like kind of my fault, but it's also kind of your fault. Like if you guys voted better, I wouldn't have blown so many accounts at first. So like I'm just saying we all deserve a little bit of the blame. Like a little bit of the blame. Like those were good times, degenerate times. All right, we're going to my next target right here. We got this, the break, and now I'm just watching this zone. And like I said, above it, I had it at 40, but it looks like the open interest has switched a little bit. This is calling out 60. Oh, it's because there were some long calls there at 45. 50. Hang on, no. This is wrong. Enough people have traded today that this actually got moved up. So at first we started off at 40, but I'd be updating this. So obviously bullish target number 1, we got that from the bottom of the transition zone to the top. Bullish target number 2, and then bullish target number 3. So obviously 2 is ideally loading, looking for somewhere between 25, 27, somewhere roughly in this zone. Key open interest level, also the high from yesterday. So watching that. And then if the market is very bullish and hungry and keeps grinding, if we get above, close above, hold above this, then I'd be watching 5, 650, which I just kind of showed you is like the next open interest node of importance. Oh, the wheel. Yeah, the wheel, we did some wheel stuff. We did some voting stuff. We did some Piper stuff. We did some tarot card stuff. Yeah, when you do that type of degeneracy, the lost accounts add up pretty freaking quickly. They add up pretty freaking quickly. So there's a 77% chance. Now on the Qs, there's about a 77% chance that we close above 468.92. So there's a 3 in 4 shot that the Qs close somewhere above yesterday's closing value, 468.92, as in closing in the green territory. And that could be said about the SPY as soon as we push 560.71. As soon as you see 560.72, you know there is a 77% chance that at market close today, we will be somewhere above 559.39, which once again is yesterday's closing value. That is all from Edgeville. If you want those numbers, I cannot stress this enough. You can get this for free. You get an entire free week trial. It is pinned to the top of chat. It's in the description of the video. But those numbers, if you want to become a better trader, I would highly recommend knowing the stats, facts, and figures of the market. The easiest way for you to get the stats, facts, and figures of the market is to use Edgeville. You don't have to have any coding ability whatsoever. You just have to have the ability to click. As long as you could do that and then read the data on the screen, you're gonna be golden. So don't overcomplicate it. Bring back the tarot cards. I kind of want to, if I'm being honest. I kind of want to, but more so, I want this to hit. Hang on, let me switch this up. I want to see how my one trade's doing. That trade's doing well. That bullshit trade that I was like, I don't know if I want to do this or not. I'm up a cool 2.8K, 2.7K, 2.6K, 2.8. Honestly, I might just take it off right up here and then call it a day, make a couple grand, celebrate it, blow it all at a local Texas Roadhouse. But I'll probably be taking off some of my money there. I do have 5. I could scale out. I could take 3. I could do 3 and then 2, something like that. I don't know. I'll figure it out, but not a bad day, honestly. I mean, I made, just focusing on Apex, that's 30 grand. I made 1.5K on the 20 accounts, so that's a nice 30 grand on day 1. So it doesn't really count until you build up the buffer, so let's not get too excited about it. And then the only other thing I did was this, but that's unrealized, it's currently up 3K. So hey, 3K a day keeps the doctor away, and obviously that was all posted in real time in the Discord, and ask anyone in the Discord, they'll tell you it's there. But folks, that's what I have for y'all. be careful today. We are above the transition zone. So right now the bulls are in control. I laid out the targets. Pay attention to them. I don't think today's going to get too gnarly. I think there could be some like reversions playing out as we get into positive gamma, or also just into the end of the day if people maybe not wanting to swing risk in the bullish or bearish direction overnight. So pay attention maybe to the later half of the day. But this is not the day to take the big swings. This is not the day to take the big risk, because we're all just waiting for the big announcements and decisions and market reaction to Liberation Day tomorrow. So obviously, just take a little bit of a breather today, respect your risk, respect your sizing, and understand that we have more exciting events to trade later this week. So it probably doesn't make the most sense to take like an unreasonable amount of risk today. Today's just not the day to do it. So we will be posting an update video after the market closes today. It'll come out around 7 p.m. I'll give you an update of what's changed in the option structure so you're better prepared for Liberation Day. Then we're going to be streaming said Liberation Day tomorrow. And then on Friday, we get the unemployment numbers and a Jerome Powell speech. So pay attention to Friday as well. But other than that, check out Edgeful. If you want take profit, use that code Goonie. If you want to go to the Discord, use the code Goonie. Pretty much the code Goonie is going to get you fat discounts wherever you're going to go. And happy April Fool's Day. Thank you. I appreciate all the good vibes. I'll catch you guys on the flippity flip. I hope you make a shitload of money. I'll catch you in the update video later today. Peace.